My dear brothers and sisters, today I want to speak from a place of honesty and reflection. Sometimes in life we find ourselves in moments where we witness someone stumble, someone make a mistake, or someone act in a way that challenges our patience. And in those moments, the world often expects us to act immediately, to judge, to react, to call attention, or even to mock. But there is a different path, a quieter, deeper strength that we often overlook. No, I didn't remove him. No, I didn't call the authorities. I didn't mock at him. I didn't joke. I didn't add to the weight of his mistake. I simply observed with a heart full of understanding. Because sometimes the most powerful response is restraint, the most profound act is compassion, and the bravest thing we can do is choose not to contribute to the harm around us. In a world that rushes to judgment, in a world that finds delight in another's falterings, may we pause, reflect, and remember that every human being is struggling in ways unseen. Every heart is carrying burdens we cannot measure. And sometimes, just sometimes, the greatest kindness we can offer is to simply let them be, without ridicule, without escalation, without bitterness. My dear brothers and sisters, let us take a moment to think about this. How often do we see someone make a mistake and immediately want to react, to judge, to comment? Subhanallah, we are all human and it is natural to feel these things. But what if instead of reacting, we paused? What if we tried, just for a moment, to place ourselves in their shoes, to imagine the burden they carry, the struggles they face, the moments of weakness they cannot share with anyone? This is empathy. True empathy is not about saying, "Oh, I understand completely," because no one can fully know another's heart. But it is about recognizing their humanity, their pain and their imperfection, just as we would hope others recognize ours. And along with empathy, there is reflection. Reflection is the gift of stepping back from a situation and looking at it with clarity. It is asking ourselves, why do I feel this way? Why does this person's mistake bother me so much? What is in my heart that I want to mock or react quickly? When we reflect sincerely, we begin to see that sometimes our reactions tell us more about our own weaknesses than about the other person. And subhanallah, when empathy meets reflection, something beautiful happens. We do not rush to judgment, we do not rush to harm, and we do not rush to mock. Instead, we respond with patience, understanding, and wisdom. This is a reminder, my dear brothers and sisters, that every soul is struggling, every heart carries its unseen burdens, and every one of us stumbles along the path of life. By pausing, by empathizing, and by reflecting, we create a space where compassion can grow. We remind ourselves that restraint is strength, silence can be mercy, and understanding can heal far more than criticism ever could. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the most beautiful qualities we can cultivate in ourselves is the ability to hold a non-judgmental heart. Subhanallah. How often do we see someone falter and immediately start labeling them, thinking we know their story, their intentions, or the reasons behind their actions? It is very easy, isn't it? Very easy to point fingers, to form opinions, and to speak without understanding. But the reality is that our knowledge is limited, and the heart of another human being carries burdens that we cannot see. Just because someone acts in a way we do not like, it does not mean they are without worth or value. And just because they make a mistake, it does not mean they deserve mockery or ridicule. We have been taught, my dear brothers and sisters, that judging others harshly is a weight upon our own hearts. It blinds us to their humanity and it takes away from our own humility. When we choose to be non-judgmental, we are not saying that what is wrong is right. We are saying that we will not add to the harm by rushing to condemn. We are giving space for mercy, for understanding, and for growth. There is immense power in holding your tongue, in refraining from gossip, in keeping your mind free from harsh assumptions. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of strength, of maturity, of wisdom. Think about it, my dear brothers and sisters. Every one of us has stumbled at some point in our lives. Every one of us has faced moments where our actions were less than perfect, moments we wish no one else would see. And when someone judges us harshly, it hurts, does it not? And subhanallah, when we remember this, we begin to understand the importance of being gentle with others, even when they falter. Being non-judgmental does not mean we ignore wrongs. It does not mean we approve of injustice. It means we respond with compassion first, with understanding before anger, and with patience instead of mockery. It allows us to see people as they truly are, complex, struggling, and worthy of dignity. And when we adopt this stance, our relationships change, our communities change, and most importantly, our hearts are filled with peace, free from the poison of constant criticism and blame. My dear brothers and sisters, let us reflect on a quality that is often tested in our daily lives, yet is so precious and so rewarding: moral integrity. Subhanallah, how easy it is for a person to follow the crowd, to do what everyone else does, to speak when everyone else is speaking, and to act when everyone else is acting. But the one who possesses integrity chooses a different path, a path that may be quiet, that may not bring immediate recognition, but that earns peace of heart and the pleasure of the Almighty. Moral integrity is about standing firm in what is right, even when no one is watching, even when it is difficult, even when it is tempting to take the easier route of mockery, gossip, or retaliation. It is a test, my dear brothers and sisters, every single day. When we see someone make a mistake, when we witness wrongdoing, what do? Do we react with anger or laughter? Or do we pause and think, oh subhanallah, this is not my place to shame, this is not my role to escalate? Integrity is about making the choice to act from a heart that is conscious of Allah, from a heart that values honesty, dignity, and fairness above the fleeting satisfaction of being right or seen as clever. It is about being consistent, whether in private or in public, whether in hardship or in ease. And subhanallah, integrity brings with it a sense of inner freedom. When we act with integrity, we do not carry the burden of guilt from hurtful words, from false accusations, from actions that compromise our conscience. We sleep at night with a heart that is light, because we know that we have chosen the path of truth and righteousness. It also inspires those around us. It teaches our children, our families, and our communities that strength is not in cruelty and honor is not in humiliation, but in maintaining one's values even when it is challenging. Remember, my dear brothers and sisters, the world will constantly test us. People will act unjustly. Situations will arise that provoke us, and sometimes silence or restraint feels like weakness. But integrity transforms weakness into strength, hesitation into wisdom, and restraint into a form of mercy that can change hearts. It is a shield that protects us from regret and a light that guides us toward the right choices, reminding us that every action we take leaves a mark on our soul and on the lives of those around us. My dear brothers and sisters, let us take a moment to reflect on something very important: our shared human vulnerability. Subhanallah, sometimes we forget that beneath the surface of every person we meet lies a heart that struggles, a soul that carries burdens, and a life that faces trials we cannot see. We often judge people by their actions, by what we witness outwardly, but we forget that each person has their own unseen battles, their own fears, their own moments of weakness. And when we remember this, it changes the way we look at the world, the way we treat others, and even the way we see ourselves. You see, vulnerability is not weakness. It is a part of being human. Each one of us, whether rich or poor, young or old, strong or seemingly strong, experiences moments where we falter, where we feel afraid, where we wish someone would understand us without judgment. And yet, how often do we rush to mock, to ridicule, or to criticize someone for their mistakes, forgetting that we too have stumbled many times before? Subhanallah, the Prophet A taught us about mercy, about compassion, about looking beyond the surface to the heart and circumstances of others. Recognizing human vulnerability is to walk in the footsteps of that teaching. When we internalize this truth, it teaches us patience and empathy. It reminds us that no one is perfect, that mistakes are part of the human journey, and that our duty is not to condemn but to guide, support, and uplift where possible. It encourages us to pause before reacting, to consider the unseen struggles that may have led someone to act in a way we do not understand. And it softens our hearts, making us less quick to anger, less eager to mock, and more inclined to respond with kindness and understanding. Furthermore, recognizing vulnerability allows us to connect with others in a meaningful way. It opens doors for genuine compassion, for sincere forgiveness, and for the building of relationships rooted in understanding rather than judgment. When we see that everyone around us carries hidden burdens, we begin to cultivate a spirit of humility, realizing that our own weaknesses are a reminder that we too are in need of patience, mercy, and support. Subhanallah, this awareness transforms our interactions, reshapes our communities, and strengthens our own hearts, because it teaches us that every person deserves dignity, respect, and the chance to rise above their mistakes, just as we hope for the same ourselves. My dear brothers and sisters, let us reflect on the importance of gentle guidance in our lives and in the lives of those around us. Subhanallah, how often do we see someone make a mistake, someone stray from the right path, and our first reaction is harshness, criticism, or even ridicule. And yet, the most effective and lasting way to guide someone is through force, not through anger, and certainly not through mockery. True guidance comes from a gentle heart, a patient spirit, and a willingness to show kindness even when it is difficult. It comes from understanding that people respond to love and mercy far more than they respond to judgment and scorn. Gentle guidance is a reflection of wisdom. It requires us to pause and consider how our words and actions impact another person. Subhanallah, imagine a child who is corrected harshly. What do they feel? Fear, shame, resentment. But if correction comes with patience, with understanding, and with care, the lesson is absorbed, the heart remains open, and the person is encouraged to do better without carrying the weight of humiliation. This principle applies to all of us, no matter our age. Every person is in need of guidance at some point, and the way we provide that guidance shapes not only their actions but also their hearts. It is also important to remember that gentle guidance requires humility. We do not guide from a place of superiority, but from a place of understanding that we too are fallible, that we too have made mistakes, and that we too have benefited from the mercy and patience of others. When we guide gently, we do so with the hope of uplifting, not condemning, with the desire to encourage, not to humiliate, and with the intention of helping, not harming. Subhanallah, this approach does not make the lesson less powerful. In fact, it often makes it more impactful, because it comes from sincerity, compassion, and respect. And my dear brothers and sisters, gentle guidance does not only benefit the one being guided. It transforms our own hearts, it softens our character, cultivates patience, and strengthens our ability to respond to others with mercy rather than anger. It reminds us that our words are powerful, our actions are influential, and the way we treat others leaves lasting impressions far beyond what we can see. Subhanallah, in a world that is quick to criticize, quick to shame, and quick to mock, choosing gentle guidance is a path of true strength, wisdom, and faith, a reflection of a heart that understands the value of mercy, patience, and love in every interaction.